Okay, this is a little instructional video on how to make a Canvas assessment using a stimulus, like a common source or document, that will randomize everything else on the test except keep all of the questions that go with a certain stimulus together. So this uses the new quizzes in Canvas, and I have already started the process. I'm just going to record the making of one set so you can see sort of the convoluted thing that it requires. Now, it will give you lots of power to get exactly what you want, but you have to know what you're doing. So this is where I'm going to show for you. All right, so to explain my context here, I have an old Microsoft Word document that has my old test that I would have just printed off and handed to kids. Now I am making it digital. So I'm going to be copying and pasting as we go. All right, so in here in quizzes, we're going to go over to this little button here, and I've already put in a few sets. Originally there was nothing. I just clicked this blue button, and then it says add. What kind of question do we want? We want a stimulus question. So I find it very helpful to name all of my stimulus questions, because when kids do test corrections, they're going to need to be able to reference them in a way that you can understand. So this question is set in the 70s and 80s with the rise of conservatism. This is a Jerry Falwell quote, and so consequently, I named this set Falwell. I go down here to content. I'm going to hit Control-Shift-V. That will remove any formatting that was in my Microsoft Word document, put it in as straight text so that Canvas, oh my gosh, Canvas can chew on and use the default formatting. I am going to pick this for my thing. It will look better here in a minute. All right, so now I use item banking. So there's actually going to be a blizzard of item banks, so we want to keep them tracked based on what your test is called. This is my test. It happens to cover AP period 8B plus 9. So the second half of 8 plus 9. So that my test is just called 8B plus 9. So I've now added this Falwell quote, and you can see that it shows up here as a stimulus, just like these do. Now I'm going to start attaching questions that go with this stimulus. So here I'm going to be doing some copying and pasting from this Word document. So I will pick a multiple choice question. I'm going to call this Falwell 1, since this is the first question from my Jerry Falwell set. And now this 10 came over from Microsoft Word, so I need to get rid of that. So now I just have a stimulus. You don't want any numbers on any of your questions or letters on any of your choices. So now I'm just going to copy these over. Again, I'm hitting Control-Shift-V just to make sure that any formatting that might have been in Microsoft Word will disappear. Control-Shift-V just basically means that you're copying just the text. So Control-Shift-V quickly. Now, this is an important step. You need to make sure that your correct choice is indicated. Okay, next you come down here and you click Shuffle Choices. And then you come down here to Item Banking. I'm going to hit Add to Bank. Now I need to create a new bank. So that is going to be called the name of my test, 8B plus 9, kind of clunky, but Falwell. That's what we've got right now. So there, we just created Falwell 1, and we put it in the Falwell bank. So now we're going to make the next multiple choice question. I'm going to call this Falwell 2. And I'm going to add the stem for the question. Okay, again, get rid of that number. You can kill all those numbers ahead of time in your test if you want, so that you don't have to delete that little step. I find that confusing then to know which question I'm on. You can just take them out as you go through. That's probably a good idea. But again, just laying in some answers here. I'm using a dual screen setup right now. So my laptop and the video camera are right in front of me. So sometimes it looks like I'm looking at something. That's actually, I'm looking at the Microsoft Word document. And then over onto my right is a second monitor, which is where I'm pasting these. I would recommend that kind of setup. Doing this on split screen is very annoying. There, I accidentally clicked off, so it said it was done early, so I messed that one up. I have to go back in, and again, I'm going to hit shuffle choices, so that's going to mix up all of your A, B, C, and D, and your item banking. Again, we're going to use item bank. So now there's an existing bank, so I go down to 8. Ooh, don't crash, please. You can do it. All right, so now we're putting Falwell 2 in 8B plus 9 Falwell. Okay. You don't have... Okay, just double checking. All right. So, so far we've made in this stimulus and we've attached 2 multiple choice questions to it. We're going to add 1 more multiple choice question to this set of stimulus, or this stimulus. So that will make a set of 3 questions that go with this one document. So we're going to call this Falwell 3, and I'm going to add the stem of the question. And so then I'm going to lay in, again, make sure you pick the correct answer for yourself. And using Control-Shift-V, I just do it out of habit now, Control-Shift-V. So I've laid in my choices. I picked my correct answer. Now I hit Shuffle Choices, and now I add it to my item bank, which finally it's remembering that this is 8B plus 9 Falwell. And so, woohoo. All right, so now we have 3 questions under this stimulus. The magic trick is what we have to do next. So we're going to hit Attach Question, and we're going to click this little piggy bank, which stands for item banks that we've been creating. So in this case here, it's 8B plus 9 Falwell. Man, I spelled Falwell wrong everywhere I put it. I'm not changing that. So now I just added all the questions from Falwell, which was 3 questions. I'm going to click on this little crayon. This is very important. I'm going to change it from use all of the question to use randomly select questions. And I'm actually going to change it back to 3. We're going to use all of the questions, but we're going to have it randomly choose the questions. So now we have 6 questions attached to the stimulus. These 3, which will always appear in the same order, and 3, which will randomly appear. Well, we don't want duplication, so now we're going to go through and cut out the questions that we made because they're in the item bank that we put them in, and now we are pulling 3 questions randomly from the question bank. So what does this accomplish for us? All right, there's one more thing you have to do, and that is for your whole total quiz or test settings, you have to go here and you need to pick both shuffle questions and shuffle answers. So what that means is, now that we have our quiz, when we preview our quiz, it will randomly pick a stimulus set. Oh man, it's not looking like it. They're actually in the same order that I was in. Let's double check that. Oh boy, it really kicked me all the way out. So open up this. Let's hit preview again and see if we get the randomization we're expecting. Okay, so see now, Falwell is actually the first set, and you can see how this format works. They'll get the stimulus here, and the question will go over here, and these are randomized. These are not the same order that we put them in. So now you get the question, the big stimuluses are being passed out in a random order. The questions are being passed out in an order, a random order, and all of these choices, A, B, C, and D, are being passed out in a random order. So the kids are getting a truly randomized test, but all of the questions are still tied to the same stimulus. So they're not just getting a big jumble of mess. They can still work through the test in a meaningful way. All right, so that is complicated and convoluted, but that is the way that you can use Canvas to maximally randomize a test using a stimulus document, map, literature piece, whatever. All right. And you can mix and match. You don't have to use all stimulus. You can do this with and then put in a big matching section or whatever. But if you have a section you'd like to base on a document and you have multiples of these sections and you want them to be ordered so that students can't confer about them, then this is how you do it. All right. Thanks.